Arsenal versus Liverpool. Did Liverpool miss a trick, losing out on 2 points at Arsenal? Why did Slot not encourage his team enough to go for a winner? We'll talk about all this and much more. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Two Reds, One Pitch, for all things Manchester United and Liverpool. I'm Vineet. I'm an ardent Manchester United fan since 1998. And with me is my dear friend Maninder.
Hi friends, my name is Maninder. I have been a Liverpool supporter from past 20 years, have been following them through thick and thin and enjoying the ride.
So, Maninder, what are your initial thoughts on Arsenal versus Liverpool?
If at the start of the season you would have said we would draw at Arsenal and gain a point from there, I would have taken that. But given the circumstances during the match specifically, I think we could have gone for the winner. But at the same time, I think it was a good game overall. I'm happy that we were able to pull the goals back twice and manage to draw. I'm not too much worried about the result overall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would take a draw.
Yeah, I would agree. A draw is a good point at Arsenal. But I do think Liverpool missed a trick because I saw the match and Liverpool were in control, but I would say Arsenal were in their shell. So before we dive deep into all things Liverpool, what do you think of Arteta and Arsenal? I heard a very interesting quote from Jamie Carragher. He said Arteta is more of a Mourinho than a Pep. What do you think about that?
Well, I have a similar opinion, and a lot of the folks who are watching the show, specifically Arsenal fans, might not like what I say. But I personally feel Arteta is just a wannabe, considering the size of the club that he's managing and considering the amount of money that he has spent to just gather the squad. I personally feel that he's a very defensive coach. He has that safety first approach to the game, and that's probably why Saliba and Gabriel are also spoken at such high levels because they do not concede goal. They do have a defensive mindset. Regardless, having said that, the one thing that irks me a lot is that people comparing him with Jurgen Klopp. He should not be spoken in the same sentence as Klopp. I'm personally not a fan. If I was an Arsenal fan, I would not have liked the brand of football that he plays. He's just a wannabe, and that actually trickles down to the players as well. And you could see a lot of defensive diving and time wasting. So I think his character is right. He is more a Mourinho than a Pep.
Yeah, and I would tend to agree. So his brand of football is quite mixed. His side will play interesting football for 60, 70 minutes, and then they will just go in their shell. So that's something which kind of irks me a little bit. But then again, I don't care too much about Arsenal. It's for them to lose.
But one thing that I definitely like is the Arsenal fans going into the proper meltdown mode whenever any decision does not go in their way. I just love that. Long may it continue.
And you know what? I came across an interesting stat. Arteta is one of the managers, and there are very few managers who have not been yellow carded this season yet. For all his antics on the sideline, all his running around, I don't know why he hasn't got a yellow card. It beats me.
He's not that far. Trust me, he's not that far. He will eventually get, and one would follow another and third. His antics on the sideline is bound to bring him yellow cards. That irritates me. I just do not like the managers going up and down on the touchline like he does for full 90 minutes. That's another reason for not loving Arteta, but he is a Mourinho.
Yeah. It's good to know that we could agree on one of the things right on this channel. Our hate for Arsenal. We don't like Arsenal at all. So moving on to Liverpool, right? You just mentioned right at the start you're a little bit disappointed with 1 point because you would have taken it before the match, but during the match you thought you could do more. So why do you think you didn't go for it? I think in the last 15 odd minutes, Arteta and his team was there to be taken.
Yeah, I think it was not one of the brightest matches for us. I personally feel that we were not in control of the match. Arsenal was pressing very aggressively and we were not able to play around that press. The first half was completely out of control for us. We were not the usual self. In the second half, after the halftime team talk, we got a little bit of control back into the match, but I don't think we still did enough to create that many open, clear cut chances. I think we would have
Yeah.
gone ahead for the winner if that leveler had happened a little earlier in the match. And by that time, I don't think we had that much of kind of energy left to just go and then go for the killer. But I agree, considering what happened or what transpired during the match, the number of injuries that Arsenal had to suffer through. So Timber went off and Gabriel went off. I think we could have gone for that juggler. That's
Yeah,
something that
agreed.
maybe Slot missed. But as I said, I will take the point.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, one of the previous videos, Slot is turning Liverpool a little bit boring than Klopp had Liverpool playing. That's disappointing, but yeah,
I agree, and I would add that had Klopp been the manager in this match, and all of this would have transpired in the last 10 minutes, he would have just thrown the kitchen sink at Arsenal. He would definitely have thrown that.
yeah, yeah. And one thing which surprised me quite a lot was Szoboszlai, not starting. He was doing so well. I think Slot took something out of Ten Hag's book by tinkering his lineup, and they weren't that effective in the first half. What do you think?
I don't believe he was tinkering with the lineup. I think he went with the form player. So Curtis Jones had a very good match against Chelsea. And honestly,
Yeah,
Soboslai has been struggling a little this season. His off the ball work is second to none. And I think that's something that always gives us a lot of energy at the attacking third of our play. And he presses from the front. But his on the ball work is something which has been a little bit off the mark this season. He has not hit his usual standards. And that's where I think Curtis came in. Again, hindsight 2020, given how the match panned out, probably McAllister would have been the one who should have sat down because he absolutely did not had a good match yesterday. I don't believe that having Soboslai at the start would have changed much. Yeah, it was either or between Jones and Soboslai. I don't think he missed any beat there.
yeah. Okay, fair enough. So, talking about underperforming players, there's one player which I think is really underperforming for you this season, Robertson. Am I right in my assessment, or do I have my Manchester United glasses on?
Last two matches has not been good for him, and he's not at his usual high standards, so I can see from where this question is coming. And he actually was the culprit for the two goals that we conceded, one against Arsenal and one against Chelsea. He is not at his peak. He is aging, we all agree. If a peak Robertson would not have allowed those two goals, so I think he's going on to the wrong side of 30. So it is something that the management team is aware of, and he would, I think, probably very soon be just moved out of the team slowly and gradually.
Good to know that we are agreeing on the second thing in this particular video. So, do you think the lack of ambition which Liverpool showed in the last 10 to 15 minutes is that the state of Liverpool today in terms of Liverpool's title chance? They don't believe they are right up there, but maybe top four is their target. Do they lack self belief to go on and charge for the title? What do you think?
There is no lack of self belief. There are absolute winners in that squad from top to bottom, and all of them have won plenty of trophies. So they know what it takes to win the leagues or win the Champions League or win the cups. So that winning mentality is there, which was, I think, the biggest gift that Klopp could have given to the next manager. So from that perspective, I don't think there is a lack of belief. And I personally also do not feel there was lack of ambition during the match. As I said, if we had leveled it a little earlier, we could have probably gone for the juggernaut. If this match would have panned out with a bottom half team, I would have said that we surely should have shown more ambition. But against Arsenal at their home, I think it was a good decision.
So, one thing I would want to correct here: Arsenal and Liverpool are fighting for second place. There is no way Manchester City is not winning the league again. Well, they just disgust me. They just disgust me. Anyways, moving on, there is a double header with Brighton coming up. Brighton are flying high. I know the first match is a cup game, but what are your thoughts on the next game with Brighton and, of course, the league game coming up over the weekend?
Yeah, this is an interesting double header. I feel Slot would change a lot during the cup match. He would bring in all those folks who have been on the periphery. So I would
Yeah.
not be surprised if you see 7 or 8 changes in that match. But then he would go
Mm.
back to his tried and tested 11 for the league because that is where the primary focus is. The good bit is that the league match is at our home. So I feel that we should have enough in our pocket to just win that match. Cup matches, as you know, cup matches can go in any direction, and that is anyways at Brighton's home. So it would be a tricky one to see. But then the same problem is there for Brighton as well. How do you juggle between the team for these two matches? Because anybody who is playing during the week for the cup match might not be at full strength for the weekend match. So the problem is same for both clubs. I I feel we have slightly better squad than Brighton, so we should be able to navigate these two. But I'm looking forward to these two matches because Brighton has an exciting brand of football that they're playing, and it would be a good contest to see.
Yeah, 31-year-old Brighton manager. He's doing really good for himself, so he's making a name. So let's see. Looking forward to the match against Brighton. So, lastly, right, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty interesting. I don't know if you noticed or not. There was some interview which Trent Alexander-Arnold, and by the way, that was a quality pass which he gave to Darwin Nunes. And Well, to be honest, before I talk about Trent, what's really got into Nunes? I was expecting him to take that Trent's pass and shoot it like in the fifth goal, maybe somewhere there. He passed it to Salah and Salah scored. I was not expecting that. Maybe I have jinxed him. I've made him in a player. I don't know why did I say Darwin Nunes can only do well in goal and nowhere else. He's done very well in the last two games.
Indeed, it looks like Slot and his team are working with him closely in the training sessions. Even we could see those improvements in matches. So long may it continue. And even I was kind having a hunch that he might shoot from a very weird angle, but he proved me wrong.
But coming back to Trent, one of the questions I asked of Trent in one of the interviews he was doing was, would he want to win a World Cup, a Champions League, I think, or Ballon d'Or? And you know what he replied? He said Ballon d'Or. I was like shocked. Any player who's saying he doesn't want to win the World Cup but Ballon d'Or, you know what it indicated to me? He's not going to sign a contract. He's going to Real Madrid for sure. Because while Vinicius Jr. may not have won this time round, but if somebody wants to win Ballon d'Or as a right back or any other position, Real Madrid is the team to go to. So he's off. He's going off. He's not signing the deal. What do you think? Will he?
He- you seem to be reading a lot between the lines these days. Again, nobody knows what's happening behind the curtain. Nobody knows where the contract talks are. It might be just a tactic to just get the best deal for himself, or he might definitely be moving to Real Madrid. We just don't know. Only time can tell. I personally would not begrudge him if he goes to Real Madrid. It is a big club. But at the same time, I think he would maybe taint his legacy a little, but maybe he does not care. Bellingham is already there. They are best pals. And I think he would also be doing a lot of conversation with him at the back end. That might also be one of the pulling factors. But having said that, no player is bigger than the club. If he signs the thing, perfect. If he does not sign, I wish him all the best and he can go to Real Madrid.
I agree. No player is bigger than the club, but if a bigger club comes in, well, Trent will leave and go to Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, of course, is one of the biggest clubs. I cannot argue with that. But going to Real Madrid, he would be just part of the furniture. I think that's another aspect that he might have to just keep in his mind, that he would just be another player there. And in Liverpool, he has the legacy and he's a potential future captain. So here he has a legacy to protect, and it all depends upon what he thinks. Whether he just wants to go there for winning trophies, just be another player, or he wants to protect his legacy here. These kind of moves not always pan out. Ask Coutinho, and he would probably answer the same.
Just staying on Trent for a little bit more. Do you think Trent is one of the best, if not the best, right back in the Premier League history?
I have absolutely no doubts about that. From the moment I have been watching football and following football, I personally feel he has just redefined that specific position. Regardless of what people talk about his defensive qualities or not, I think that is a lot of hyperbole being added there. A lot of knee-jerk reactions. He is a good defender as well. Maybe not the perfect, but he is good. He's not what media would think he is. But in terms of his output in the other direction, he's just stupendous. I personally believe I think he's just redefined that role. In my lifetime, I have not seen any other right back who could do what Trent does day in, day out.
Well, how many titles or how many trophies does he have?
It is
Two, I
just
think.
not
How
just to
many
see how
trophies? How many trophies does he have?
live football is a team game. One single player cannot win you so many trophies. I can give you plenty examples across the globe wherein players have won 10, 20, 30 trophies in their lifetime, but they cannot even come this close to Trent in terms of the quality of that player. So football is a team game. You cannot win alone, and just having many trophies does not make you a great player either.
I was beginning to think we are agreeing too much in this particular video. I'm glad we disagree here
Yeah.
because Mr. Manchester United Gary Neville has 12 trophies. 12. Trent has two, maybe three. Phew. Gary Neville is the best.
Not even close. They should not even be spoken in the same sentence, I would say.
Well, let's agree to disagree and move on. So you're looking forward to your match against Brighton. We are looking forward to a match against Leicester City with Ruud van Nistelrooy at the helm. And let's see, Amarim is the word around for Manchester United as a new manager. Let's see what really happens. Any
Yeah.
passing thoughts?
No, just keep giving us the meme material. That's what we want. And Manchester United never ceases to amaze us.
Okay. We're more than happy to keep you happy sometime or the other, but we're going to get serious now. So that's about it for this particular episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Like, subscribe, Do write in the comments below what do you think about the discussion out here. Until next time, bye bye.